Hi everyone, welcome to the TomWasHere Halloween Haunts channel, and we're going to talk about doing some scare acting at Infernum and Terra Haunted Attraction. If you were in the Wheeling, West Virginia area at Infernum and Terra on Saturday, October 7th, you might have seen me as your zombie, demon, undead bait shop owner, and you might have seen my buddy Todd as a zombie, demon, undead rat victim. I don't know if a better way to put it. But no, Infernum invited us out to do a little scare acting, and thanks so much to Sean and everybody at Infernum for having us out. It was an awesome time. But yeah, just want to get into kind of some of the fun things there. We were extremely late, of course, which is becoming a pattern if you watched some of the haunted house things, with all types of fun things, including some rubbernecking of a broken down truck for some reason. And then more importantly than that, we were run off the road by a mechanic who had his, he had someone out in the road, but they weren't like waving their arms or doing anything that signaled stop. And I'm like, so somebody was just standing in the road, and I saw no obstruction beyond that person. So I decided to whip around them because, I've seen movies, TV shows, recent clips of people being stopped, and then somebody pulls a gun and tries to take their car or whatever. This was in broad daylight, but even so, I was running late, so I whipped around them, and then the truck pulled out in front of me to make a statement. He could have waited, but he decided to pull out in front of me to, and then we got to do a shouting match and all that fun stuff. But basically, another reason to delay me. So we finally got there, and it was basically like right into the makeup chair. I'm sure if we had got there on time, we would have been able to check out our areas, do a little setup. But no, it was right up in the makeup chair. And with Infernum, Carly, who's doing basically the makeup for everybody, including herself, and acting in the show, was really, putting forth the full effort on this one. So immediately Todd went in first. He started getting his rat victim makeup. Found out that Todd was going to be a rat victim, and he got a really large, massive rat puppet that he wore on his arm, and it had these massive teeth that chomped together. Really, really cool. But yeah, and then he was in a room that was right next to me, and then I was in the room called the bait shop. And then they weren't, I think they were going to put me somewhere else, but they decided to put me in the bait shop just because it was close to him. Now, funny, the idea is that generally when I go on these haunts, at least since 2020, it has always been me, it's been my friend Todd and my buddy Matt. Matt wasn't able to make it out this time, but Matt would have been there as well, and Infernum was okay with having us all out there, which was really cool. But unfortunately, Matt couldn't make it, so it was me and Todd. And the idea, we've always talked about this idea of wanting to, go do a little scare acting somewhere. And some people have reached out to us and wanted us to do it. Infernum was the place that was willing to have us all out there and do it. And in our mind, it was like, oh, cool, we're going to be in the same room, be able to play off each other. But if you've ever been to a haunted house, that's not really the case of how this works. Because if you go into a room and there's 3 people in one room, and then you go into another room and there's no one in there, or you go into a third room and there's no one in there, well, that doesn't really make any sense. Also, with a haunted house, you kind of have to be at the ready at all times, because unless you have a good trigger in the room prior to, you don't necessarily really know exactly when people are coming in. So if you're sitting there, I know we probably would, be BSing in the room, and then, a random group walks in, the immersion's lost in that sense. So there has to be some level of isolation, and you have to kind of be guarded and at the ready. It was fine that we were in separate rooms and we were near each other, but obviously because we were in separate rooms, there wasn't a ton of interaction between us that whole night. Now, because we were late, unfortunately, and in hindsight, what I should have done was I should have set up a camera in Todd's room and set up a camera in my room. And then, at least Todd would be able to get some footage of stuff like that, of him doing stuff in his own room. because I brought several cameras, but I didn't think when we were going up the rooms, and I just left them all in the office, in their office area. So I only had the one camera that I bring, which is generally my phone. So I set that up in my room, but I didn't think to set it up in his. I do regret that. It would have been cool to add that. And should we decide to do this again, that I'll definitely, be able to get there a little bit earlier to set up some things in a couple different rooms, should anybody want to attend that. Now, the one thing I can say is that both Todd and I are in our 40s, and what he found, and what I certainly found in my my being a scare actor experiences so far, is it's very demanding on you, for those 4 hours. All due respect to the people that do this, every weekend for a haunt season, and like I said, newfound appreciation for you all. I mean, I love haunt people. They're generally like super like above the board, like nice to us in every way on just about every stop I've ever been to. They go above and beyond. Infernum's no different, and Infernum is a family affair. I mean, you have the owner acting, his wife acting, everybody's acting, at Infernum basically, especially on that Saturday night. So it was definitely a fun experience for sure. But as we both were nursing our aching bodies, yeah, on the way home, and you realize like, oh man, yeah, we're 40. We're in our 40s. This is we're very old. Yeah, and then you realize you're yelling the whole night, and it's easy to get your voice jacked up and all types of different stuff. So the people that scream and talk a lot, like if they have big long things they have to say in a haunt, man, all power to you. Doing that night in and night out is all respect, like absolutely. But no, we and we both kind of were in the same position where he got led up to his room, I got led up to my room. They're like, all right, you're like a rat victim, do what you like. They gave us freedom in the sense of just do what you like, with just some minor, like, they were like, well, for me, they're like, well, you're in a bait shop and you're hillbilly. I'm like, okay, all right. And my face was painted like a Goblo paint, and thanks to Carly for mentioning that it was a kind of a custom paint job that she put on me, that was something different than what anybody has got at Infernum, and I thought it turned out really, really cool. So thank you for that. But yeah, they put us up in a room, and he's a rat victim, I'm a bait shop owner, and hillbilly, and go. So they handed me a prop, which I've determined now I must have a prop. In the acting gig so far, I have to have something. I think it's helpful to me. I don't know if that's part of my weird process, but that's what I was going for. So I had a prop, and what my prop is it was a blowfish with a stick through it. Like if you had like a stick had a spike and you caught the blowfish that way. And they called it a fish stick. And I went, okay, all right, I can make this work. So I figured that would be the solid intro. But, okay, so I'm going to be a hillbilly. Okay, all right. I wanted to be different than the regular hillbilly voice everybody has. If you're impersonating a hillbilly, everybody kind of has that same accent that everybody under the sun does. I had to come up with something interesting. Then I was like, okay, well, you're in a bait shop. All right, what hillbilly is near water? That's literally the thought process I put in. What hillbilly's near water? And I'm like, okay, well, Tennessee is not really a thing. It's not really Georgia, Mississippi. They're not really, And then I came on the idea of Louisiana. And I was like, okay, Louisiana. All right, that's something different. That's not your average, but it's not really, the true like hick hillbilly accent either. It's more like the Cajun style accent, like not quite what that assistant coach was in like the water boy or whatever. But I mean, it's a different dialect for sure. And I was like, okay, I'm going to run with that. But what I realized after the fact, I didn't realize it until I got home, and it popped through my head actually while I was driving, is that I was doing a obscure SNL skit from about maybe like 8 or 9 years ago with Jason Sudeikis called Maine Justice. And the hook of it was silly. I mentioned this in the video. The hook of it is that it's a show based in Maine, and it's about how it's like the People's Court if it was based in Maine, but the audience, the person defending themselves, the bailiff, the judge are all deep Louisiana. And they were using thick, like, talking about gators and, all types of stuff like that, like a really exaggerated Louisiana. And I was like, okay, so that's basically what I did the whole night. I did exaggerated Louisiana accent to everybody that came in. And, it was the way it was set up is in my mind, when we were both adjoining rooms, I was like, oh, this is going to be great because even though my camera's set up in this room, I can then run into Todd's room and, every once in a while when he has people coming through and mess with them and then have him follow me into, my room and continue on that. Well, the way it's set up at Infernum is that when I walk through to check on him, there's this thing that it's like a jail cell at the end of his room. And that jail cell, when you hit a certain motion point, the jail cell falls forward. And so I wasn't able to even check on him because if I went to go check on him or like just do a quick like whatever, the jail cell would have activated. And I didn't want to do that because it takes a little while to get set up. And in my room, I had a little trigger switch. And in that trigger switch, what would happen is when I would hit the button, this box, the shipping box would open up and these heads would roll out and start laughing, and then there was flashing lights and stuff. And the idea of it is that when people walk in the room, I hit the box and then they're distracted by the box, I come out. But there was a certain cord, that cord only had a certain length. And so when I started in the acting thing, you can kind of see it because the footage is very dark. I was just standing kind of in the center of the room. There's really nowhere to hide in that room. And I was like, okay, I'm going to try this. And so obviously they were coming in and then they'd see me right away. So what I started doing was there's a giant table that has this giant treasure chest and all these like skeletons of like different fish and stuff like that on there. So I hid behind the table and then I put the switch into like a fishing net. So it was like propped on this thing. And then when I would wait for them to come through and then I'd hit it and then I'd run up to them from behind that. And that did get a couple scares, especially there was a couple girls that decided they were going to sprint through. Like, I don't know what, kudos to Todd, I don't know what he did in that room, but they were literally running through, and I knew they had to run through me to get to the next thing. And so I stood up right away, and what I was doing to everybody was I was pointing the fish stick at them and getting about as close as I possibly could without hitting them, of course, like a certain level of uncomfortability. And man, did they spring back. They almost ran into the prop behind them and almost knocked it over. It definitely got some jump scares, but it was set up in such a way where it wasn't, maybe, with more experience in the room, I could have figured out some different ways to come up with something, more unique that would have scared more people, but it was fine for what it was. I tried to hide behind that. It was like a giant prop in between a chair, but it was tough to get out from that little corner. So, you can't jump scare anyone if you're tripping over the prop to get there. So I tried different things to attempt to make it work. And what ended up making work the whole night was me just standing on the other side of the room, hitting the thing when they came in, then running up to them and bam, and doing my little spiel, which has started with kind of like, it wasn't really Louisiana. It was more like, I was like, which one of y'all's hungry? Like, you like fish sticks? And then with certain people, I said, you got a fish stick, boy. That biggest one you ever seen right here. Then I'd try to lay on the Louisiana thick. And then whenever someone would comment, what I was trying to do was not only stay in character, but come up with something interesting to their comments. And I had a back and forth with a couple kids for a while where they kept asking me questions, about, how much were the fish and all this stuff. When do you do to get the fish and all this type of craziness that, and so I was coming up with a good dialogue there. It was like a challenge to me to keep that going. But at the same time, were people getting upset in the next room because they're like, why are they taking forever? Like, I heard the sensor thing go off. That's my cue to whatever. And they're taking so I didn't do that with everybody. A few people I had move along, because what they would do is I would kind of come at them with a little scenario of like, you could buy this fish on the table, or I just went through with my dialogue of like, after the fish stick, if nobody was like, if they were just standing there looking at me, I was like, I don't see anybody reaching for their wallet. So if you're not reaching for your wallet, you're not buying nothing, leave. Like I just try to get them in the next room. So I was trying different things to attempt to like move them along. And then a couple people I, stayed for the spiel and they were open to it. So I just, played around for a few minutes before I send them on their way. Now, and the thing is, I would hope Todd did the same, but I didn't get a chance to check on him. Now, a couple times Todd did linger his way into my room, chasing people. And I was so buried into my little like spiel thing that I tried to throw nods his way. It's real subtle, like not anything particular in him. Is that when I would say like, oh, you want like this type of fish, that type of fish, you want rat? That's in the other room, thrown back to the previous room with with him holding the rat. But we didn't get to like do too many things where we were like interacting together, which is kind of a bummer, but that's okay. Like it's not, based on how haunted houses are laid out, I'm not shocked by this. But no, so the one thing I can say is, so with haunted houses, if you've ever been, especially if you've been in there for the entire time, when you're walking through 20 minutes, you notice it, but you might not notice as much as when you're in there 4 hours at a time, is it's a symphony of sound. And there are sounds coming from all different directions. You're hearing props hit, you're hearing animatronics go, you're hearing loud, ominous music at almost all times. And I can tell you that my hearing is not the greatest in terms of isolating sound. I can hear pretty good. But in terms of isolating sounds, or sometimes where a sound came from, my ears will play tricks on me. So if it's something where, it's a sound over here, it could also very well be back here based on what, I might hear some weird little pitch and go like, wait, is that here or is that there? So that did get me in trouble at Infernum because somebody was coming through to fix something. And look, I'm on the other side of the room. I'm ducking behind a treasure chest. I see a head. If I see a nugget, that's all I see. Bam, I'm hitting the trigger and I'm coming out full force to get you. The person that was trying to fix stuff, I believe, got a little perturbed with me. I'll be honest, I don't know who it was. It wasn't the owner. It was someone, I guess someone that's working there. But sorry, I didn't hear you. He's like, I told you I was coming. I'm like, I didn't hear you. 2, if I don't know who you are, you're getting get. Infernum has paying customers that come in, and I don't want to be sleeping sleeping at the wheel, when these people come in to find out, like, whoops, like I let them down or I broke the immersion there because, I'm waiting for someone to come through and fix stuff. No, I didn't know who you were and I didn't hear it. So I popped it and I came out full force. The person was not happy with me, and he threw me off my game a little bit. I will say that, because I held on to it a little bit longer than it was. I was still mad about the mechanic running us off the road, and I was just like, there might be a procedure at different haunts when someone comes in and walks through. I don't know what the procedure was, and I didn't hear him, so he got it. You can be mad at me all you like. But then I realized the next group came in, and so I was turning another direction, and I had to like peek around and immediately snap back into it. Because I was like, oh, all right, I gotta snap back into this a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I'm not like mad or upset or whatever. I get why he's he was a little perturbed or whatever. But at the same time, I think it's a haunt rule that, because haunts will come and check on you. They'll come and check on, like, you need anything, you doing all right, things going well, you good, whatever. They'll come and check on you periodically. And if I don't know who you are, I'm going into my thing. So just so you know, if anybody watching this that has another, whatever, or wants us to be a scare actor at a future thing, if I don't know who you are and you're coming in the room and I have a job to get you, I'm going to get you. That's my job. And I don't want to let people down. Infernum's they built up a nice reputation in a short amount of time. And they're, the word of mouth I heard, before first time coming there was last year, was like, this place is great. Check it out. It's awesome. And it is great. So when me and Todd come in and we're going to be scare actors for the evening, we don't want to be the weak links. We don't want to be the ones that let you down. Absolutely not. So we're going to give you the best show that we can possibly give you. And that's exactly what I did here. I'm trying to do everything I can so that when some people come out, they go like, man, oh man, I loved Infernum, but boy, that dude in the bait shop was off. I don't want to be that person. I want to be like, I won't even be like, wow, that dude in the bait shop was great. Or, or maybe it's just like, wow, the whole experience was great. Don't even mention me. I'm just part of that experience. If I did that, hopefully, if you went to Infernum on Saturday, October 7th, and you went into our 2 rooms, I hope we didn't let you down. I hope we gave you the scares that you were looking for on that Saturday night. And that's what I was there going for. I like to see the behind the scenes experience and what goes into it. And what I found and what Todd has found is that what goes into it is a ton. It's chaos. It's a lot of people changing costumes real quickly. It's them getting into character, and it's them sitting in rooms for 4 hours on a Saturday night or a Friday night or a Sunday night or a Thursday night or however one haunts are open, and doing their level best to not only immerse you in that world, but scare the hell out of you. And speaking for Todd and myself, I hope we didn't let you down. I hope it was an awesome experience, because we had an awesome experience and we love doing it. We certainly love doing it. But let me know your thoughts on Infernum and Terra. Were you actually one of the people that came through Saturday night, October 7th? I want to find someone that actually came through, didn't realize it was me in there, and, like I said, hopefully we did a good job. I want to hope we did a good job. But thanks again to everybody at Infernum, Sean, everybody in the, Carly for doing all the makeup and the blood. I didn't mention the fabulous blood party that she put on, where she was just blood on everybody. And she's putting on all the makeup. She's putting on her own makeup. She's doing her own show at the end of the, at the end of the haunt too. There's a lot involved with her gig there. But yeah, that'll wrap it up. Infernum and Terra, Haunted Attraction, scare actor for the evening. Friend Todd, scare actor for the evening. We had a great time doing it, but our 40-year-old bodies definitely felt the brunt, especially the next day. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below on Infernum. How'd you like it this year? We actually haven't been through Infernum this year. I'm hoping to get through one of these last 2 weekends of the season to check it out, because they basically escorted us to our little area, and that was our area, and I didn't see anything else of the haunt. So it was cool that it'll be like new to me, because I do know they change it up from year to year. But guys, thanks so much for watching. If you are new here, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Like to support me on Patreon like John Bailey did. You can do so. Link is in the description below. If you'd like to buy a t-shirt, a TomWasHere t-shirt, including the TomWasHere Halloween Haunts t-shirt, you can do so at Spreadshirt, as well as links to my eBay store, Facebook page, Instagram, TikTok, and the Pennsylvania Autograph Collectors Association. Links are in the description below. You still here? I always wonder if people... I do my spiel so often. I very much assume people don't stick around for it. So if someone is actually sticking around for it, do you like escape rooms? Unlock the adventure escape experience, Titusville, Pennsylvania. It's about 2 hours from the Pittsburgh area. I was invited up a month ago or so, oh, well, maybe 2 months ago at this point. And they have given me some tickets to give away. So if interested and want to know more, leave a comment. And what I would have you do is you can leave a comment on this video. You can leave a comment on the TomWasHere Facebook page. You can leave a comment on TomWasHere Halloween Haunts on any video you like. And just leave a comment saying, unlock the adventure. If you leave a comment that says unlock the adventure, you'll be entered to win a contest to a pair of tickets at Unlock the Adventure Escape Experience. Now, a few rules, a few caveats on that. If you would be kind enough, I'm not going to hold you to it, but if you would be kind enough to subscribe to TomWasHere YouTube channel, TomWasHere Halloween Haunts, and the TomWasHere Facebook page, and the Unlock the Adventure Facebook page. Is that too much to ask for you to just 4 button clicks and a comment? Well, let me know. If you would be so kind as to click on those 4 things, subscribe, follow the Facebook page, follow Unlock the Adventure Facebook page, and leave a comment saying Unlock the Adventure. You can put whatever else you want. A reason why you'd want to win, why you're so good at escape rooms, why escape rooms are fun. I don't care what you put in there, but just at least put Unlock the Adventure. You'll be entered in to win a pair of tickets for Unlock the Adventure Escape Experience. I'll put that contest up after this video premieres for about a week. And if you win, I will send you some promo codes that you can use to book a time on the Unlock the Adventure Escape Experience website. So, guys, thanks so much for watching. And until the next video, we will see you soon. But until then, bye everyone.